In this video, we are going to find out the longest drive possible in the United States without crossing an international border. There's two real ways you could do this: southwest to northeast, or southeast to northwest. We're going to do southeast to northwest first because I feel like it's going to be farther based on the geography. Point Roberts we cannot use. There's no bridge over the Strait of Georgia into the United States, thus forcing you to go into British Columbia in order to come back. Instead, we are going to look at Blaine, Washington, where I 5 enters Canada. You have Peach Arch Historical State Park, which I've driven through but never actually been to. And then you have the Peace Arch border crossing. And then you have Peach Arch Provincial Park in British Columbia. This is the furthest northwest United States that you can realistically reach. It's in Blaine, Washington. For the southeast you can reach is gotta be Key West. And I know it's technically cheating because Key West, you actually go west from Miami along US Route 1 until you reach it, but it's still the farthest that you can, realistically make it to. It's the southernmost point in the continental United States is in there. So that's where Key West is. And if you go from Key West to, if you go from Blaine, Washington to Key West, Florida, then the drive is very long. It is a 53-hour drive. You're taking I-5 into I-90, which you would then take onto US Route 212 back to I-90. I guess you're skipping over I-90 in Wyoming, although you are actually going through Wyoming. Then you're taking I-35 into I-70, taking I-57 to I-24, to I-75, into the Florida Turnpike to I-95, and then heading into US 1. This route is 3,560 miles. That's far. You're going through Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska. Wait, yeah. Oh, wait, not Nebraska. I was fooled. South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and then you're driving through all of Florida. But here's the thing. Florida is by no means the westernmost point in the United States. You look at a city like Tampa, and then you can use Google Maps, and you can find out that it's about 82.5 degrees west in terms of longitude. You then go into a city like Cincinnati, and you realize it's only about 2 degrees to the west. City like Columbus, only about half a degree to the west. And then you end up in a city like Cleveland, Ohio, and you realize that Cleveland is actually pretty far to the east of Tampa. And Cleveland is not even considered to be a part of the Northeast. Many say it's in the Midwest. So what about if you can go from somewhere that's truly east, like somewhere like Holton, Maine? You could go from Holton, Maine, then go into Blaine, Washington. I get that there's the perspective of, of where you are. But the reality is that's only a 51-hour drive and 3,472 miles. So it's actually not that much closer than the other thing. However, I do have to say that the fastest route of distance does take you into Canada. You would cross borders at Corungora, and you'd cross into Canada. You'd go through Quebec and Ontario, and you wouldn't enter the United States until you would do so at I-94 near Point Edward. So you're spending a significant amount of time driving through Canada on this route. Avoiding it would take you through New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and Washington. But that is something to keep in mind when you're going somewhere this far north, is that oftentimes the best route is going to take you through Canada, at least briefly. Speaking of Holton, though, you could then plug this into San Diego, which is about the southwesternmost point in the United States, um, and try to get results for that. But as we know, the California coast does slope northwesterly, so the result is only 49 hours and 3394 miles. You go through California, Nevada, briefly cut across Arizona before heading through Utah and Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. But, again, San Francisco is a lot further north, but it's also further west to a significant extent because of the way the California coast slopes. Even LA, which is further north, which is further west than San Diego, is west of cities like is east of cities like Carson City. From San Fran, it's 50 hours and 34.43 miles as you take a more northerly route. But not only is it the fastest route, does take you back through Canada, but now there's also the perspective of that. So I think Blaine to Key West is the farthest drive in the United States without crossing an international border.